Mayorkas let in about 12,000 murderers. How many would you target to let into this country?
My goal every day would be have no murderers allowed into this country and our communities.
Mayorkas allowed 16,000 rapists. How many would you target to let in?
Every day I'd work to make sure that there was none let into this country.
He let 600,000, Mayorkas, 600,000 people with criminal convictions. How many would you allow in?
We would work every day to make sure people are safe and that those with criminal convictions are immediately removed.
How many private jets would you have the United States taxpayers have fly into foreign countries to pick up people to bring them here?
Senator, we will no longer be undertaking that mission at the Department of Homeland Security.
So not 700,000 individuals on private jets over the last 4 years. You would not have any.
No. I'll be working with President Trump to put in place his agenda in adherence to our federal laws.
And how many illegals will you plan to house in luxury hotel rooms in Manhattan at a cost of $6,000 per month?
Sir, clearly, Senator, during this election, the American people said they did not support that and that that would not be a part of this new administration.
How about sex change operations for illegals? How many of those would you suspect you would fund?
Senator, I believe that the Department of Homeland Security will be reevaluating its mission in this country to not allow that going forward under President Trump's goals.
You know, when you listen to those facts, by the way, those are facts. It's hard to believe that people like Kamala Harris, that people like Alejandro Mayorkas and Biden are not behind bars. What they've done to this country is inexcusable. I'm going to be sharing with you the top highlights of what I would call maybe the second or third most important position underneath Pam Bondi's Attorney General and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. The new Director of Homeland Security nomination by our president, President Trump, Governor Kristi Noem. I'm going to share with you the top highlights, so let's just jump right into it. I think this first clip I want to share with you just really sets the stage. First of all, I can't wait to get your thoughts and comments. If you did watch it live today, let me know what you thought. And also let me know what you think of the highlights I'm sharing. But this first clip I just think is such a blaze with fire of how Americans truly feel and the absolute desecration of oath that the previous administration had committed. It's unbelievably a high crime, should be prosecuted by the fullest extent of the law. But listen to Kristi in this opening clip.
Somebody recognized that this was something they were questioning and that they deserved answers. My goal and my mission is to build trust. We will undertake a large job and a large duty that we have to fulfill, that the American people expect us to do by securing our border, to make sure that our nation is a nation with borders, or we're no nation at all, and that we are making sure that those criminal actors that are perpetuating violence in our communities and in our cities and towns and states are removed from this country, that there's consequences for breaking the law in our country again. There has to be consequences, because when Americans break the law, there's consequences. And why would we ever allow someone to come in from another country and not allow them and not have consequences, or allow them to continue to go forward and to commit rape and murders and break other laws that endanger our society? So we've had over 13,000 murderers that are loose in this country that have come over that border. We've had almost 16,000 rapists and sexual assault perpetuators that are loose in this country right now. 425,000 plus people have criminal convictions that are here illegally in this country that our current administration is doing nothing to round them up and get them out of our country. We will be doing that immediately, and that will be the priority. And that is one of the reasons that today the American people have lost their trust. President Trump will build it back and know that their federal government is accountable to them.
You know what I really love about Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, even Doug Burgum and Scott Bessent and the others, is you hear them repeatedly say over and over again, I am here to enforce, I am here to uphold Trump's agenda, because Trump's agenda is our agenda, the people. Here's probably my favorite clip. I'm going to show you a bunch more with our guys, Senator Josh Hawley, who I think should run for president. If not in 2028, after J.D. Vance does. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. But watch as this weasel, Democrat Senator Kim, asks point blank a question to Kristi Noem, and her answer is impeccable. Listen to this.
I guess I'm uncertain about roles and responsibilities regarding your position and Tom Homan's. I guess I just want to ask you just point blank, like, who's going to be in charge of the border?
Well, the president will be in charge of the border. It's a national security issue, and the president is in charge of this country and has made a promise to the American people, and we will fulfill his agenda.
Well, that was a good answer. It's the answer I would have given as well.
Yeah, you're damn right, Senator Kim. That's a good answer. That's the perfect answer, and that is why I want these confirmations to happen as quickly as possible. Even some people like Rand Paul are saying it could have happened as quickly as this Monday, and it absolutely 100% should. The people have spoken. You must listen to the people. If this is truly a government of the people, by the people, and for the people have spoken. We voted for Trump and Vance. And so Trump, with our confidence, has picked a cabinet that will help him enforce the people's will. So you guys are just standing in the way. A lot of these questions are ridiculous. Let's move on with it. Okay, I've got a couple of clips from our guy, Senator Josh Hawley. I love Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri. I think he is like literally the embodiment of our framers and founders. His energy, his conviction, his knowledge, his intelligence, his ability to articulate is bar none. I think him and J.D. Vance and maybe a few others, Ted Cruz, I think the future of our country is in the best hands possible with these people. And I just hope it will continue. Vivek as well, throw him in there. Listen to, I got a couple of clips from Hawley talking to Governor Kristi Noem, the new Department of Homeland Security director. Check out this first clip of Hawley just laying the groundwork. Listen to this.
Department of Homeland Security is not particularly old, but you already have what I hope will soon be the distinction of succeeding the worst secretary in the history of the Department of Homeland Security. Alejandro Mayorkas has been an absolute disgrace to that department and frankly to this country. And I'm delighted to see you willing to step up and serve. Let me just ask you something. I repeatedly asked your predecessor when he sat where you're sitting whether the southern border was secure. And he repeatedly told me under oath, it is secure, Senator. And he repeatedly said under oath, our policies are working, Senator, meaning the Biden administration policies that, of course, gave us this devastating open border. So let me just ask you, is the southern border secure as we find it today?
Senator, no, the southern border is not secure today, but in just 3 days, we will have a new president in this country, President Donald J. Trump, and he will secure our border.
That is refreshing candor.
Love it. I love her answers. 3 days, it absolutely will, Senator. Again, there is a beautiful, and I don't think this is not like the Democrats or the Hippocrats, as I like to call them. It's not this coordinated automaton, rinse, repeat, robotic response. Everybody understands that the will of the people have spoken resoundingly, voluminously on November 5th, and they are just following suit. They seem very, what I love about these candidates and these nominees is they seem very humble under that idea. Like, look, it's not about me. It's about Trump. Trump is the leader. He's the boss. He was chosen by the people. I'm being nominated by him. So indirectly, the people are choosing me. And I'm here to honor that. I just love it. Listen to this clip right here. I love this clip right here talking about, again, the absolutely criminal behavior of the supposed government that is supposed to help us. It's just so egregious, this CBP app for illegals. Listen to this.
CBP One, the phone app that I've called concierge service for illegal immigrants. I'm sure you're familiar with it. This was the Biden administration's effort to allow asylum seekers to apply ahead of time using their phones, but not actually to provide any evidence that they needed asylum. There was a newspaper report, a press report that said the only problem with the app is it never asks users, are you seeking asylum? They don't ask for any asylum evidence. They simply release these so-called asylum seekers who use the app into the country on parole. Sometimes they're never given a hearing. The Inspector General actually did a report, a full investigation report on CBP CBP One and found that frequently users of this app were claiming the same addresses in the United States as their intended destination, even though they didn't know each other, they weren't family connections. In other words, it has been completely abused. And the idea that the federal government would pay for this kind of concierge service for illegals, I think, is outrageous. Will you end the use of the CBP One app?
Yes, Senator, if confirmed, and I have the opportunity to be secretary on day one, CBP One will be shut down.
That is music to my ears. New DHS Secretary Noem, music to my ears. Can you imagine, my fellow Americans? It's bad enough that the red carpet was thrown out to these illegal criminal migrants. And by the way, again, to be very, very clear, my parents were immigrants. There's nothing wrong with immigrants who go through, to quote Tom Homan, the borders are the legal entry of port. Legal processes and protocol and systems. There's nothing wrong with that. We want the best, the brightest. We want the best, and everybody wants to come here. Do it the legal way. We're talking about legal, illegal. Flown in here, given credit cards where Americans are struggling to make rent and mortgage, dropped in swing states, given amnesty, clemency, given an acceleration, a radical acceleration to citizenship without any process whatsoever, and also given every luxury imaginable to make sure that their entry here is easy, their stay here is easy, and their deportation is difficult. If that's not treason, tell me what is. I'm serious. Let me know in the comments. What do you define as treason if that's not it?
Will you work with President Trump to reinstate the Remain in Mexico program that the president had in place in his first term, which does so much to ensure that those who would seek to abuse our asylum system are not allowed into the country, and those who have legitimate asylum claims, their claims are processed in due order and in due course, but they wait in Mexico until those claims are fully processed. Will you work to reinstate that program?
Yes, Senator, the president and I have talked extensively about this and will 100% partner with him to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy and make sure that it's in place.
Fantastic. I think Travis might be alive today if that policy had been in place.
And then lastly, this clip right here just absolutely breaks my heart from Senator Ernst asking Kristi Noem about the deportation of illegals who have absolutely broken the law and injured Americans, some mortally. I can't imagine being a parent whose child, I want to cry right now, being lost because of these absolute traitors, these absolute treasonous traitors. Watch this.
So, Governor, how do you plan to prioritize the detention and deportation of illegal immigrants like Sarah's killer?
Well, yes, Senator, thank you for telling Sarah's story. I remember when this happened because it was so close to home and so devastating for her and her family and the entire state of Iowa and our country. President Trump is focused on making sure that these types of situations don't happen again, that we don't continue to lose our children and our family members to illegal immigrants that come in and perpetuate crime and with no accountability and then are released with no consequences. So the number one priority of the president is to secure the border and to deport these criminal actors immediately and as soon as possible. They will be the number one priority to make our communities safer and so that we don't have this kind of situation going forward. In fact, people, I think when they first heard my name being mentioned and nominated for the Department of Homeland Security, maybe thought it was a little bit of a surprise. Like, oh, I didn't think about Kristi doing that job. But I tell people the reason that I asked for it is because I knew it was the president's number one priority. I knew that it needed to have someone in the position that would do what the president promised the American people, would be strong enough to do it, and follow through to make sure that we're protecting our communities and America, but that also came at it from a perspective of how these families feel, that was a wife and a mom and a grandmother, and would be able to stand up and communicate to the American people what we were doing and why we were, because it's what they asked us to do. I have 3 grandchildren and 1 more on the way, and when I look at little Miss Addie every day, I just think, what kind of a country is she going to grow up in? What kind of a country will we leave her and her brother and a sister? And I don't want them to think that their grandma sat on the sidelines and didn't do all that she could. So I will enforce the Constitution and the law, and I will make sure that when people enact horrific things like this that happened to Sarah and her family, that there will be consequences for it.
Yeah.
Governor Kristi Noem, I could not have said it any better myself. The entire mission of our channel, everything that I'm doing here is for my grandkids, and for the, I feel every fiber of my being, I need to give back to the country that gave me everything. I love what she just said. It's the biggest purpose ever. Being a father, being a patriot. Help me make common sense go viral again. Tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing. And let me know in the comments what you think of Kristi Noem. Do you give her a yay, a nay? Let me know in the comments and give a little context too. Please, guys, don't share any links. Personal ad hominem attacks, they go straight to spam. I don't see them. Our comments section is meant to be a collaboration, an engagement in critical thinking, a conversation, an insightful conversation. And I love hearing from you guys. So let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, especially if you missed this one right here I just posted. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's free. Sign up for our free newsletter in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA. I'll see you soon.